Right now, somewhere in your house, there's a device connected to the internet that you've never once thought about as a security risk. Your smart thermostat, your baby monitor, your doorbell camera. You plugged it in, connected it to Wi-Fi, and never thought about it again. A casino did the exact same thing. Except the device they forgot about wasn't a doorbell. It was a fish tank, and that fish tank is how hackers got into their entire network. The question is, how does a tank full of fish become the weak point in a multi-million-dollar casino's security? And how did anyone even figure out that's what happened? To understand this, you have to understand what casinos actually protect. It's not just cash on the floor, it's data. High-roller databases, full of names, spending habits, credit information on the people who gamble the most money. That list is worth more to a criminal than anything sitting in the vault. Steal a name off that list and you know exactly who to target and how much they're worth. In 2017, a cybersecurity firm called Darktrace was called in to investigate unusual activity on a North American casino's network. Data was moving. Not in huge, obvious bursts, but slowly, quietly, in a pattern that didn't match normal traffic. Someone was pulling information out of the network and sending it somewhere else. Here's the problem. When you're looking for a hacker, you're usually looking for weaknesses in the big stuff. Firewalls, employee logins, the software running the casino floor. Nobody thinks to look at a fish tank. This casino had one. A high-tech aquarium in the lobby, the kind designed to impress guests, with sensors that tracked water temperature, salinity, and feeding schedules automatically. And to make that possible, the tank was connected to the internet, just like everything else in the building. Think about that. A fish tank, with its own IP address, sitting on the same network as the casino's most sensitive financial data. When investigators traced the breach, they found the entry point wasn't a person clicking a bad link. It was that thermometer. Hackers found the smart thermostat controlling the tank, exploited a vulnerability in it, and used it as a foothold. Once they were in, they didn't stop at the fish tank. They moved sideways through the network, device to device, until they reached a database of high-roller information. Then they pulled roughly 10 gigabytes of data out through that same tiny, forgotten device and sent it to a server in Finland. 10 gigabytes out of a fish tank thermometer. Here's what makes this so important. This wasn't a sophisticated movie-style hack where someone cracks a password in a dark room for hours. The thermostat was never designed with real security in mind, because nobody building it ever imagined it would end up sitting next to a casino's financial records. It was an afterthought device, connected for convenience, and convenience is exactly what hackers count on. And this casino isn't alone. Security researchers have flagged the exact same weakness in smart light bulbs, connected coffee machines, even internet-enabled vending machines. Any device that connects to Wi-Fi is a door. Most companies just aren't checking whether that door is locked. So how did the casino find out what happened? That's the part people don't expect. It wasn't a human analyst manually combing through logs. It was an AI-based monitoring system that noticed something almost too small to matter. A device that normally sent tiny amounts of routine sensor data was suddenly sending large amounts of data to an unfamiliar location. The system flagged it as strange before anyone even knew what device was responsible. When investigators dug in, they were stunned to trace it all back to the fish tank. Once the casino understood what had happened, they cut the compromised device off the network and shut down the pathway hackers had used to move deeper into the system. The specific individuals behind the breach were never publicly identified, and the incident became less about catching a criminal and more about exposing a much bigger problem.